Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Talking Crazy 88, back again with another podcast for you. I wanted to talk about a subject that just came up in the news. OJ Simpson who has done time in the Nevada State Corrections Facility for almost 9 years because he was convicted of stealing his own shit back. Is due to be released from prison on parole tomorrow. Now, I'm going to talk about this subject really briefly. I'm not going to do an hour-long podcast on it because, quite frankly, I don't really give a fuck about OJ. But here's what is so here's what's so crazy about this story. That's not the crazy part, him OJ being released from prison. But the crazy part is an article that I read that the attorney, I think the state attorney of Florida, Pam Bondi, has sent a letter to Nevada stating that OJ Simpson's parole should not be transferred from Nevada to Florida. He should serve his parole out of Nevada, which is a 3-year parole. He's on parole for 3 years, so once he's off parole, he's good to go. He can be a regular citizen, but until then, he has to do some extra time on parole. The one thing I wanted to talk about is that why the state of Florida does not want OJ to resume his life, which he has established in Florida before the arrest. Mind you, he did not commit a crime in Florida. He did commit a crime in Nevada, which, is debatable because I would have done the same thing that OJ did. Is somebody who stole my shit. I find out who stole my shit, my property, and then I will just go up there with a baseball bat and retrieve my property. And if anybody offered any resistance, well, what can I say? I'm not gonna say it here, but somebody's gonna be in the hospital, and it's not gonna be me. Gang, OJ Simpson is not a person that you should really give two fucks about if you had one fuck to give. Okay? OJ, I mean, a lot of y'all don't remember that trial, but I was in college when that trial was going on, where he was acquitted of murdering his wife and her friend. There has been various theories, legal theories about what happened to his ex-wife and her companion. Because I think they were fucking. Because who the fuck, Ron Goldman was her friend, and Nicole Brown Simpson was OJ's ex-wife. I personally think they were fucking. Because why else would a 25-year-old man walk a pair of sunglasses, retrieve a pair of sunglasses that she left at the restaurant, Messaluna restaurant, and then walk his happy ass to her house? If somebody called my establishment stating that they left a pair of glasses or a pair or something like that, something that's insignificant, and it's nighttime and you have no use for sunglasses, somehow you're just fucking. You're just going over there to get some pussy. And I can understand that. That's game, man. Come on. But something happened on the way to the house where an unknown person was stabbed Ron Goldman, and she came and apparently Nicole Brown Simpson came out and she got offed. All right. So they go and blame it on OJ. So now I'm not going to recount the whole story, the whole testimony in the trial. The motherfucker got off. He had good attorneys. The prosecuting attorneys were they were fuck ups. Christopher Darden, for years, I was calling him a coon and a sellout. He's not a coon or a sellout. He did what he was supposed to do. He was put in a situation where he had no experience and did not want to be in the limelight. He was a rookie. He was green, and he fucked up. That happens. You know, he got his on the job training on the biggest trial of his career, and he fucked it up. Him and Marshall Clark fucked it up. And I'll tell you a story. I was in class when that verdict came out. I think I was in English class when that trial was going on. I was going to cut class and watch the verdict, but I said, you know what, fuck it. My people paid a whole lot of money for me to go to this fucked up school. Let me take my happy ass on in class and learn something. I'll find out the verdict later on, right? And this was during my time when I was at Jackson State University. And apparently when I got to class, a young lady came into the classroom with a free OJ t-shirt on. And I'm like, okay, I know where this is going. So apparently we was getting ready for class. Class was about to begin, and all of a sudden a big ass TV, somebody from the audio visual department wheeled in a big ass TV into the classroom. Now I thought we was gonna watch a movie or something that's related to what we were reading or whatever. No, then I started to see other professors coming into the class, other faculty and professors coming into the classroom and watching the trial, watching the verdict, right? So, all right. So, okay, they announced that we're going to watch the verdict today. That's cool. And I was like, oh, okay, so we're going to watch the O.J. Simpson verdict. So that's where I was when the verdict was to be announced. Now keep in mind, 24 hours earlier, the jurors came back from deliberation and announced that there was a verdict. And they're going to read the verdict. I'm like, oh, wow. Everybody and their mama said OJ was guilty. OJ going to jail. OJ this, that, another, right? So as I was sitting in class, I just had my head down. I didn't even look at the TV screen. I just had my head down as they were walking O.J. Simpson into the courtroom. Everybody was coming into the courtroom. The judge, Lance Ito, sat down and asked the jurors if they came up with a verdict. They said, yes, they did. You don't mind reading it? They said, O.J. Simpson was found not guilty. And the whole class was just cheering. I was just cheering like the New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl. I mean, at that time, 20 years ago, to be honest with you, I didn't even think OJ was going to go to prison. But nobody really asked me if he has done it. Now, over the years, y'all don't know me, but over the years, I had said that he may not have done it, but I think he's well aware of who did it, or he may have some involvement. But the older I get, and I'm looking at this fool on TV, I don't think this nigga is able to bust a grape. Because anybody that would commit a murder like that would have done it again. All right? They wouldn't have had no problem committing another murder in that hotel when he was getting his shit back. If I was a mad murderer, if I was like a crazed murderer, a bloodthirsty murderer, somebody that murders without a conscience and willing to do it again. Think about it, people. This man would have killed again. But the thing about it is, I spent 11 minutes talking about this nigger, this coon, because that's what O.J. Simpson is. He's a coon. He lived his life as a white man in black skin. He didn't really give a fuck about black people. But all these silly niggas running around, including myself, was cheering for this nigga when he got acquitted. When all in actuality, what should have happened that day when I was in class, we should have been learning something in that classroom that I was in, instead of watching this fool getting off of a double murder charge. Now, I don't know if he did or he didn't. That's been my contention for the last 12 years. Well, 22 years after the trial. Whenever anyone asks me, you think OJ did it? I'll just say, I don't know. I don't know if he did. But if he did do it, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about Nicole Brown Simpson or Ron Goldman, because I don't know those niggas. They're not kin to me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about OJ either if he did kill him. If he did kill him, well, good for him. He did a hell of a job for the last 22 years of getting away with it, living the good life, with all the white supremacists trying to take away his ability to make money. I believe this motherfucker made more money out of prison, from this trial, than anybody else. And that ridiculous $33.5 million judgment that the Browns and the Goldmans received during the civil trial, was awarded during the civil trial, was a big joke. Because this motherfucker ain't gonna pay. He's gonna find a way not to pay that shit, which I would have done it. He said, fuck you, I didn't do it. Fuck you. Take it out of my ass. But what OJ should have did was just leave the country, which I would have done. We got my passport and got my happy black ass on out of here. But he stayed. And look what happened. They threw his black ass back in prison. Well, yeah. Threw his black ass back in greater confinement. You know, everybody is all concentrated on this motherfucker who haven't even busted a grape in the last 22 years. Think about it, people. 23 years ago, he hasn't done anything since then. He hasn't committed a crime. Well, he hasn't physically hurt somebody. He hasn't assaulted anybody. He didn't commit any battery. He didn't pull a knife on anybody. He probably he had niggas pull a gun on somebody, but he didn't pull a gun on anybody. I don't see a history of violence, because if it was me that murdered somebody, I would have a history of violence. I would have a history of violence from 22 years ago. Okay? Now, you got fat ass George Zimmerman running around who actually murdered a child. He murdered a child, a 17-year-old boy, and get this, people, he got $500,000 from the white supremacists. The white supremacists collected and gave this man $500,000 for his defense. All right? Think about what white people did. They're not outraged that this spick, this half-white spick, murdered a young black child. They weren't concerned about that. They were concerned about, they're now concerned about OJ living in their community, who haven't really done anything in the last 22 years. He was acquitted of that he was acquitted of those murders. So nobody really knows who did the murders. They just, the LAPD, the LA District Attorney, Los Angeles District Attorney, they just deemed him as the murderer. Now that's white supremacy. I've never heard of the state of Florida deeming George Zimmerman as the murderer of Trayvon Martin. He got away with murder? Okay. But then again, the difference was we know who the killer of Trayvon Martin was. Nobody knows who the murderers of Ron and Nicole Goldman. Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. But think about it, people. Y'all gave a white spick $500,000 of murder for murdering a black child in cold blood. All that child was trying to do was get home. Yeah, the white supremacists, the sunken place coons, caping for it, calling this boy a thug. When nothing in his background it has indicated that this boy was a thug. I want some of y'all sunken place coons to call me a thug. And I'll take you into an area where there's some real thugs, and I want you to call them a thug in their face and see what happens. Okay? Because I know some thugs. I know a few killers. I'm not gonna put their business out there, because that ain't none of y'all fucking business. Who I know. Just so you know, I know people that will hurt you, who has hurt people. Okay? Trayvon Martin was far from being a thug. But that's not about, but hey, state of Florida don't want OJ living and existing in their community, which he has since he was acquitted of that trial in Los Angeles. When he moved from Los Angeles to Florida, he hasn't really done anything in that in the community where he lives. Why are y'all fucking with him? That's all I get. And black folks, I'm not going to talk about this insignificant coon anymore. He's 70 years old. He's about to die. Fuck him. I hope he lives a nice, peaceful life without anybody talking about this man. I'm not. He's gonna have a pay-per-view special about his interview and all that bullshit. Fuck him. I'm not gonna be talking about him on this podcast. We got bigger fish to fry, gang. Listen, this is Talking Crazy 88, and I am out of here. And black folks, let's take care of each other and stop with all the fuckery.